I'm glad you could join us. With me today is the founder of Teen Seed Africa, an organization dedicated to mentoring young girls and teens into leadership. The founder of this organization has dedicated herself into ensuring that the girl child grows up empowered, and today the many girls out there that she has impacted are indeed grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Miss Winny Obure. Hi Winny.
Hi.
How are you?
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I know you had to travel to be here. I know you're tired, so we need to make it really quick so that you can go and rest.
Sure.
So for our viewers out there who have never heard of Teen Seed Africa, what is Teen Seed Africa?
Oh, nice. Thank you for having me here today.
You're welcome.
Teen Seed Africa is an organization that was founded for one key reason: to mentor girls into leadership as early as they are teenagers. Because having grown up, I realized that most of the time we start speaking about leadership to young people, like literally youth.
Yeah.
And then colleges and campus, and we just forget that they come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So Teen Seed is there to start talking to these young people about leadership, about life when they're still teens, so that by the time they get to be youth, they already know, they're already positioned, they're already leaders, and they're already changing their communities.
Yeah.
So Teen Seed basically is all about mentoring and nurturing the seeds of greatness. So teen for the word teenager, and seed for seed.
Yeah. The one you planted.
Yes, and so we believe that to make a difference, you have to really start early.
Yeah.
And early is planting those seeds of greatness when our kids are still as young as
possible. So how long has the organization been in existence?
Well, so we started doing activities in 2012, so that's about 4 years right now. And we work mainly in schools, primary and high school. And we also do out of school teenagers, like those who dropped out of school and stuff. And so we get to work with any teenager, but our focus is mainly on girls.
Yeah. So what inspired you to start this organization?
Wow, a nice one. I grew up in a very not so good teenagehood. Like my past is one of those places I look at and I'm like, I don't want to go back there.
Yeah, it's too dark.
Yes, it is. It's very dark.
Yeah.
It's very shameful.
Shameful.
It's pathetic. I mean, sometimes I look at it and I'm like, okay, so why did it have to happen that way?
Like what happened, without going into details? Oh.
Yeah. So I went through a series of repo deals.
Yeah.
And the first one that I remember is when I was 13. I was almost turning 14 years.
Yeah.
And this was somebody who's very close to our family. So, I mean, that coupled with so many other things, inspired me to start a platform where other young girls can just talk about themselves, can listen to my story, can be able to learn from mistakes, to learn from my experiences.
But that was not your fault. You understand that?
True, it was not my fault, but as a young person, I also
at that age you feel maybe
I had the responsibility to take care of myself, only that no one talked to me.
Yeah.
So it's really being a sister, a big sister to someone else, like being a big sister to a teenager of today, so they could just walk with you and you can walk them through your experiences. Yeah, it was really not my mistake, as you say.
Yeah,
but in Kenya today,
yeah.
What happens when you get raped? What do people say?
What were you wearing?
Yes, and it's
why
not
were
about
you there at that time?
Thank you.
And maybe you're just going to the shop.
Exactly.
And
and that's it. I mean, the society we've grown up in tries to blame the victim.
The victim, exactly.
For everything.
And the perpetrator gets free.
Exactly.
And that's why maybe you didn't find it necessary to report it, because maybe you felt nothing would happen, or what?
Report? We've been talking about reporting back there. Reporting issues of violence against women started just the other day. I mean, how many people report even today? And just as a child, I just thought maybe my parents would not understand me. Maybe they will still point a finger at me. Like, how did it happen? And so Teen Seed is just there to talk to these girls, because I remember growing up, I didn't have somebody to just talk to me as a big sister, to guide me, to share with me, to have that honest conversation.
Yeah. So now your program helps girls or teenagers to achieve their dreams. How do you do that?
Well, what we do is just support them through their education, because you can achieve everything through education. I mean, it's one of the most crucial parts of anyone. So what we do is just, try to help them achieve their goals by, one, concentrating on their education and supporting them through that process. For example, the girls in very poor background sometimes cannot be able to afford like basic things like sanitary towels and stuff. So we have a program, a campaign actually, that's Pads for Progress, that empowers
Pads
for Progress. Yes.
Okay.
Pads for Progress.
Yeah. For the sanitary pads.
For the sanitary pads.
Okay.
To just give out the sanitary pads to those who are less
needy.
fortunate. Yeah. And so they don't have a reason to miss school.
That's true.
And another thing is, growing up in rural areas, even in Nairobi, some of the girls still cannot be able to stand up and just speak very confidently about themselves. And in our organization, we say no. Like, they're not able to stand up and just say no and stand by it. Like it's a weak no or something. It's because the self-esteem is not high yet, like it's somewhere. And the level of confidence is also not what you'd want a girl to be.
Yeah.
So what we do in our mentorship program is try to, take them through life skills, that will help them better negotiate, better express themselves, better relate with other people, and so that as they grow up, they know that it's your duty to do something for yourself and for your community.
And to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
So when you engage with the teenagers now, and you talk to them, and when you look at the teenagers right now, at that time you're growing up, what do you think has changed? That generation and this generation, some of the challenges maybe when you talk to them, you get to learn, or what has changed compared to maybe when you grew up?
Yeah, for me, it's information. The way young people access information today is really one thing. Because you realize that they don't reach out to their parents, they don't reach out to their pastors, for those who go to church, they don't reach out to their, their siblings. They have a way of getting information. I think it's because of internet and social media, if you say. But mostly they get information from their peers. The only problem is this information might not be
the right one.
Yes, may not be the right information. It's not very accurate. So how teenagers are accessing information today has changed a lot, because back then there was a lot of fear in even trying out some of these things.
You're scared.
You're scared because everybody
catches you. It'll be something.
Not even your mother, even your neighbors.
Because
Because
everybody was watchful. Yeah, you're right.
But now who cares? Like, your next door neighbor is doing something funny and you don't even care about it.
It's just normal.
Like, everyone for their own.
Yeah. So in this era of social light and media is glorifying these things, and this is what we get to see every day in the papers and the news, the television and all that. How do you think has affected the growth of the young people now compared to those days? The effect it has had on young people?
Yeah, it's about modeling. So, you can't take me to school if you've not been there and if not emphasizing on the importance of education. So it's about what we say vis-a-vis what we do. And honestly, you find parents of today, and I really, really talk from experience, is that we don't have time with our teenagers. We just assume that, they're there, they're kids, yet they think that they're not kids. And teenagehood is such a very tricky timing to be in, because then you're not a child and you're not an adult,
and you're forming your personality.
Yes, and that's the time when you really want to build your character, your personality and stuff. And so for me, what has happened is that there have been if I may call it, like lack of role models.
Yeah.
Even our parents are not becoming the best role models that we want, because we realize that because of for some cases, because of the poverty situations.
Yeah, so
sometimes you have to go and work. And you have to, like in Nairobi, you work 8 to 5. And by the time you catch up with the jam and
you don't even see them. They find their sleep sometimes.
And so you do that for a week, for a month, for 6 months, for a year.
So
you don't even know how.
You don't even know your kid anymore, right?
So they grow up without having that, really, without having
that relationship,
that very close relationship with the parents. So what that happens is that then when they need something, they will go to the easiest person to talk to, who is their peers. Their peers just get the information from maybe social media or
place they do.
Yes, and that is very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
It leaves them exposed. So in your work, in your mentorship program, do you have like a success story that you'd say, maybe a specific girl or teenager that you helped? Yeah.
Yes, we have so many success stories. We'll speak about this particular one. So, when girls come to the program, especially when you're doing the leadership camps, which normally goes for 3 days, so they like get to stay there. It's a residential training for teenagers. They come camp for 3 days and go back home. You listen to them after that, and they're like, this has been the most, this is the best thing that has happened to me, because it opened my eyes. Like they're able to start reasoning differently. I remember this particular girl said, you know what, I've gone through so many things in life, but I think all is not lost. And she decided to go and start her own club of girls and just talk to them about things, talk to them about her life, talk to them about life, talk to them about leadership. It's when the people you mentor go back to do the same thing, or go back to mentor other people, it's very, very satisfying to me. Because then you realize that it's not about winning, it's not about teaming.
It's the bigger picture.
All of us. It's about change.
So do you usually like bring other women with different careers or different sectors to help at home with the girls?
Yes, we do. So we bring in different women, like from all professions. We try to bring in even those who don't have professions per se, because for us, success is not just about finishing school and getting a degree and having work. There are people who are very successful, who have never been through school. So it's just about bringing the women who are very extraordinary to talk to.
You can have positive influence.
Yes, we can have positive influence on them. But again, we try so much to bring young women and women in general who've gone through a past that they're willing to share and that shaped them to who they are. And they just get to share, and they get to motivate the girls, they get to empower and inspire them. Because then sometimes you look at a personality and you say, oh, Winny, maybe she's such a strong woman, she's very confident, and just think that they've never gone through anything in their lives. It's because women have been refined through a process. And it's normally not the best experience.
That's true.
And the only thing we can do to make a difference is to share that story with them, to share our experiences, so that they don't have to go through the same thing. So we invite so many other women. It will be nice to have you also.
It will be an honor. Just let me know in good time. Sure. Because I also have like a mentorship program that I do for teenagers as well.
Nice.
So we're speaking the same language. So if I'm available, I'll certainly come. So you said, and I quote, that of course your slogan is nurturing seeds of greatness, and you use your experiences and skills to share with the girls, hoping they learn and don't make the same mistakes as us. That is you guys. That's end of quote. What is the one thing you did, maybe as a young girl, that you wish if you had a chance of taking it back, you would? Other than your other experience that you shared. Just one thing you did and you look back and you're like, what was I even thinking? You could take back.
About relationships and
Hey, it could be in school, could be...
Yeah. Yeah, so there's this particular thing that I did when I was in primary school, but it changed me. I mean, it was...
For the good or for the worse?
Yes, for the good.
Okay. At least you learned from it.
Yeah, it was having the bad company of girls.
Yeah.
So I remember I switched schools, like when I was in class 7, I moved to a new school, Budalangi. And then I was never very serious. Like the kind of people I met there was just not serious, or they didn't know what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So me, I joined this group. We were about 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened is that the first exam we ever did when I was in class 7 actually came the last person. Like during the results day,
Mm-hmm.
so I remember our teacher was like reading the names of the last 5, but in my mind I thought it's the first 5 because I knew I was smart. I knew I was very bright.
Yeah.
And I just come from another school which I had performed very well. I was
Very
always
well.
top 5.
Yeah, but the company...
Yeah. So then I go to
changed
school
everything.
and on the results day, she's like, okay, so we're going to call this last 5. I think I got it like first 5. Then I was like,
I mean, you're smart
Obure.
anyway.
Winny, I was so excited. I was like, you know what? I think this is good. No, I thought this is good because then I'm position 1.
What?
Only to get there
She
and
called you the
realize.
first...
Yes, just to realize the next people who are coming are my friends, you know, those that I joined.
Oh.
And then there were 5 of us there. I was thinking, okay, hello. So
Was that like
what
a
happened?
light bulb moment?
It was because I don't know what happened. It just didn't click
Yeah.
in my mind. But I was like, but how? I've never been this.
Yeah, you've
before.
never been...
How?
Yeah.
That changed me a lot
Yeah.
because then before I do anything, I have to look around me like who is
Who am
around
I
me?
keeping company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I made a decision that day that I will not work with anybody who's
That is not
pushing me towards
to be better,
goals,
who's
yes.
adding value in
Who is not adding value in my life.
Alright.
And when I stopped that, trust me, by the end of the year, I was position 1.
So that experience changed you for the better,
It changed me, and up to date, I just don't keep friends.
that are not adding value to your life.
I have to be adding value in life, and you have to equally add value to your life.
All right, we'll be right back.
You know, it's not easy for a parent when he grows to see a doctor and you're told your son might go blind.
I knew I was different, but I didn't quite understand how different I was.
Mothers sometimes choose not to breastfeed because I believe they don't know the benefits of breastfeeding.
So I started thinking about it. I'm thinking, man, if I can get TB of the intestines, what about them? Do they know that there's something like that?
I would encourage people to, when they wake up, to take at least half a liter of warm water.
Serikali iwachilie hizo dawa za watoto wanatumia zikuwe free.
I would advise the society to accept these children because nobody applied to have a child who has got disability.
Hizo mgonjwa vile nimepata sijajua na kuoa sana.
Mimi wajua I'm surviving with the 45% of my lung. This one may collapse.
If we could find a better way of just preventing TB transmission.
What more can you give to someone, who cannot see this world?
The World Health Organization estimates that at least 405,000 are added to this figure each year. Behind me is the modern version of the Manyata. It is a known fact that TB may and can affect anyone. As members of the Biotisho group sing their hearts out, they hold a clear message, that of restoring hope to the hopeless. And Angeline Kado for Health 101.
Welcome back. Now, Winnie, you're a member of the World March for Women, right?
Of women.
Of women.
Yes.
So, what is that about for people who are hearing it for the first time?
Oh yeah, so World March of Women is an international action movement. It's a feminist action movement that started way back, like about more than 30 years now. And what happens is like we organize action around the globe because it has a membership of up to about 97 countries worldwide. And the reason why it exists is just to speak against patriarchy and just empower women to get out of poverty and stand in solidarity with the women everywhere in the world. Yeah, so in case anything happens for the women tribe, I call it women tribe because all the women for me are one. So what we do is like support women worldwide, support women in everything that we do, and just try to fight for gender equality. Yeah.
So the term feminist, how would you describe it in your own words? Because people hear feminist and they're like,
it's a women thing.
It's a bad women thing. So how would you define it in your own words?
For me, feminism is just about equality. It's about justice. If anyone is doing that and they're named a feminist, it's okay. It's because you want equal rights, you want justice, you want, life to just be the best for everyone. Like, for me, I believe there is no particular agenda that is higher than that.
And by seeking for equality, it's not like you're trying to say like, now women are like men or men are like women.
Not really.
Yeah, it's just empowerment to the girl child and women. Because most people miss the point. They think that when you're being a feminist and then you're talking about rights, it's like now the woman is equal to men in every aspect.
For me, yes. A woman is equal to a man in every aspect. But what we want is equality and not similarity.
Yeah.
Because some people think, I will never be a man. I will never have,
But you want equal chances.
I want equal
opportunities.
Chances. Yes, exactly. The fact that we are biologically different does not mean
should not hinder you from achieving. Or from being in the same platform.
Yeah, exactly.
So your organization, in how many places are you at right now?
Teen Seed? Okay, so we're working in Nairobi, that's Budalangi, Nairobi, that is Kayole in Comarox, and in Budalangi. Yeah. Are
you seeking to expand and maybe being reached in other places?
Yeah, like right now we're starting a program in Kindu Bay, and we'd want to move to other counties as well, because for mentorship it's not just about a particular region. Every young girl needs to be mentored. If we will never end up there as Teen Seed, at least we'll inspire other young women to just hold the hands of those young sisters and work with them.
So what are some of the skills that these girls get to learn from this organization, if at all?
Okay, so the kind of skills that we impact on them are like one, the life skills, like communication. So how do they relate to themselves first of all? We give them skills that help them relate to themselves better, like expressing themselves, like standing up and confidently talking about their issues, and negotiation skills, like being able to negotiate for yourself in any kind of a setup, and just being able to demand what is right for you. What is right for you. We've been brought up thinking that
just sit here.
When things are going wrong, we're like, okay, it's fine.
Just pray over it.
Sometimes you don't need prayers, you need action. Yes, and so what we do is basically trying to help them make the right decisions for themselves, for their community, for their future. And other skills that we give are like leadership skills, like being able to start the leadership journey as young as you are. Like there's no particular age to be a leader, So we start shaping them into leaders when they're still young, when they're still teenagers.
Yeah. So in the journey of your life, of course, you've listened to part of your stories, and I think it's quite intriguing. Is there a point in your life that you had like a turn back moment that you almost gave up?
Yes, I did. Yeah, so when I got engaged and I got pregnant and I had a baby, and then I knew life was going to be nice and good. And then I started thinking, because you're a feminist, some people think you might not,
You're not the ideal woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
no, are you serious?
But what happened is, so I got into this relationship. And my guy was not that kind of a feminist I ever wanted to marry. Because then we still believed that women has a place, and the place is this particular,
Not the kitchen now.
Not really the kitchen, but he has his own definition of who
a woman can be in the kitchen and other places as well, right?
True. So, I always used to hear a lot about gender-based violence,
Yeah.
especially by spouses.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me until I found myself there. So it's like, okay, so I speak about prevention of violence against women, you know, issues of gender-based violence, and it's happening to you.
And by gender-based violence, sometimes it's not just physical. It can be emotional. It can be economical. The other day I was speaking to a lady here who had gone through years of abuse in her relationship until she decided to leave. And it comes in different forms. So which one was yours?
So many, a lot happened. Physical, emotional, psychological, cyber, you know, if you like, because
Stalking you on Facebook.
Stalking, yeah, not really stalking, but it was more than stalking.
More than stalking.
It was
Well,
more
I
than
stalk a little bit. I'm a lightweight stalker. Just a little, just.
That's what
just
I'm saying.
to know
It
stuff.
was more than stalking. It just went more than that, you know, when
Beyond, yeah.
yeah, beyond.
And
When
I just
someone
had
now just wants to even operate your accounts and yeah, talk to people on
There
your
is
behalf.
control issues now. It's more than
Yes,
just
it was. And I mean, when it happened to me, I was like, okay, now you're here. Practice what you've been telling the women and girls. You know? And it was so difficult. It took me quite a lot of time to get over it. I just come back to myself and.
But you're over it now.
Yeah. No, I am.
Thank God.
Not completely though. They're getting there. You know, it's a process.
It's a process.
Yes.
So in the grand scheme of things, what do you intend to achieve? What is your end goal with Teen Seed Africa?
Oh yeah. So eventually, I want to see a new generation of young leaders. I want to see girls who lead their communities even when they're like 13 or 14. Girls who already know what they want to achieve. They know how to get there, and not just, you know, try and error stuff. I want to see girls who will be able to finish school before getting pregnant. Like 3 things: 1, being able to concentrate on their studies, education, and be better. 2, to prevent any more teenage pregnancies, school dropout. And 3, early marriages, to just do away with early marriages completely. And that will only happen when girls have a voice, when they're able to, you know, articulate exactly what they want, how they want it, and just be girls, just be given an opportunity.
And sometimes when they want it.
And I think the reason why young girls make stupid mistakes is because they don't know.
They don't have the information.
Just try. They just try what their friends tell them. They just try what they see happening out there. And it's because some of these things have become normal. And they seem to be normal. Like a girl getting
like the society
pregnant.
have normalized things that.
Yeah, exactly. That needs to change.
Yeah.
For me, I'll be really happy one day when I don't have to be there in person, but every other person in the community gets back to a point where when you see a girl is impregnated, we all march
You have
there.
a problem with that.
Yes, then we see that it's a problem and we stand up against it.
Yeah, true.
And not just a few people who will say, oh, okay, so this lady got pregnant. When all of us just have to
have a responsibility.
Play our part.
Yes. Yeah, true. So just closing, before we do, what will be your word out there? Because when you shared that part of your story, and you said you couldn't tell your parents because in your 13-year-old mind you thought they would not do anything, and you're waiting for them to see the signs something is going wrong, and you feel that they missed that. So what would you tell parents out there who on better ways to relate to their children so that they're able to see the red flags basically when something is going on?
For me, as parents, first thing, you need to always be very, very close with the children, especially the teenagers. And, you know, the things they will never tell you, the things you just have to see for yourself. Because if you don't have that relationship with your kids, your teenagers, especially the girls, they will never tell you anything. If they need anything, they will just try and go look for it outside there. We know we have Team Mafisi, and I'm very sorry for this. We have people who are
And
just...
they have a circle now, I see.
They have a circle, exactly. And I'm not even ashamed of it. But you know, the point is, we'll always have those men who want to use and misuse your kids. You wouldn't want to see your daughter moving around with a man almost your grandfather's age. So for me, parents, be very close to your teenagers, especially the girls. Try as much as possible to create time for them, because if you don't create time for them, they will find something else to do with that time. They will end up, going to places you don't want them to go, listening to the people you don't want to talk to them, and trying out things that will harm their lives. It's very important to find out what they do with their spare time. Where do they go? Who do they speak to? Who are their best friends? Don't just release them to go for sleepovers and just any social events out there, because that is how they get poached. That is how they get approached and get into bad behavior. So really, it's about, if you want a future for your child, be there for them. Sometimes you look for all these monies, out there, and realize that you don't have a family, you don't have kids, you don't have a future for them. So as you look for your money, as you try to work hard, also find some time for them. You have a responsibility to ensure that they become kids. And for teenagers, remember, teenagers are not adults, they're not kids. Just have some time or mechanisms of addressing them the way they are. Because you don't want to be looked at as kids. You don't want to beat them around and tell them, "No, this is what you did." No, look for better punitive action than just beating them.
And sometimes communication is really important.
Exactly. How you communicate to them.
All right, Winnie, you sort of summed up everything. Find time for your kids. Television cannot raise your children. The house helps, they can just do their part, but they cannot really raise your kids. So however busy parents are out there, they need to find time for their children. I mean, that is one responsibility that God has given you as a parent that you cannot relegate to someone else. Someone else cannot do that for you. They can only help, but they cannot really do that for you. So Winnie, it was really a pleasure to have you around. And of course, next time you have an event and I'm free, I'll be there.
Sure, you don't have to be free. You can plan for
I can make time. Absolutely. When you tell me in good time, I will certainly make time for you. All right. So you heard it. Pay attention to your children. You need to know who they talk to, where they go, who they're involved with, because that is the only way you can really get to understand the world and know and see the red flags in case they're in trouble, and also improve on your communication skills with the kids, because that can solve a lot of problems at a ton of money. Because sometimes the mistakes they make are costly, and as a parent, at the end of the day, you get to foot out the bill.
They're not reversible sometimes.
And they're not reversible sometimes. It's a life, it will affect them for the rest of their lives.
True.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot today, and good luck with your organization.
Thank you.
And until next time, yes, bye-bye from me.